Okay, 4 o'clock, I'll call the meeting order. We got a quorum. We'll get this thing done quick. Purpose of this meeting was to put together some finance committee report to send to the full board. And so what I did was put some stuff together for you to look at. We'll just go through the paragraphs. If you don't like it, we cut it out. If you want something you want to add in. We've tried in the past doing a bunch of numbers. That didn't work. This goes back to an old format that was used originally for this type of report. So the first item was the preface, which actually just states that the Board of Supervisors was given the authority for 20 days to review the tentative budget. The second item, budget review, the first budget review session, was held. Basically, this just reiterates what Sean had presented at that point. 2.01, I think, Sean, was that the number? And the budget is a little over 101 million, all told. Correct?
Do you want me to give him a copy?
100,000,
101 million plus.
yes, okay, yes, that's just what we're talking about.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have that. Take it. Okay, like one of the first things you discussed, Sean, was the fund balance, and what your recommendation was. Basically, if there was any cuts or alterations to reduce the amount of fund balance. So basically, what I tried to do was, to write it under the backdrop of the Financial Condition Report issued by the Office of New York State Controller of the Finance Committee, is charged with recommending the use of appropriation of fund balance. The report states that the county's declining balance, but I've also included, and I don't think you have them, a couple of charts, because the actual fund balance is actually increasing. All right, so I put that in there. To help illustrate the comparative fund balance, there's a couple of charts that I will provide for everybody later on. One of them is the chart that we already do have, Sean, which is nothing more than that old chart that shows fund balance, except this time it shows it going back up to 7.3 million. So we'll include that as part of the report. The second graph, and then on the second graph I intended, which I didn't have time, was show the comparison between how we budget fund balance and what we actually use. So I'll include that for everybody for the report as it goes forward, if everybody agrees to it. One of the first things we did was to look at solid waste management. That was at $180,000 that was in the budget. And basically I'm throwing this out, that, and this is the paragraph, the 2014 tentative legislative budget calls for a tax levy of $180,000, in parentheses what it's for an advance payment of the negotiated post-closure fee. I believe that to be right. I think that's what John said. That is the committee's recommendation that a separate solid waste management budget be created with these fees included. Though the service through this department will not be provided until May 1, 2014, any fees or expenses paid should be loaned to this department by the general fund and repaid to the general fund as those revenues are generated by user tipping fees at our facilities. The committee recommends these savings should be used to lower the tax levy. Do you find anything, an exception to that? Anybody? Go ahead, Michael.
I just have a question. When it says May, it will be the 180,000 covers from May to December?
No, that post-closure fee, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, that post-closure fee is a payment that's due, as John said, I think, in advance. So I think that's why he suggested putting that in?
Well, the way it's collected now is collected through the actual tipping fees that's collected. I believe it's based on a monthly basis, and it is based on the gap.
Yeah.
There's a per dollar charge on the gap for the post-closure budget of MOSA. But without MOSA there, all the counties are still liable for post-closure maintenance.
Right.
So that is, I believe it's a yearly, John would be able to better describe it, but I believe that's a yearly charge it would cost the county for post-closure expenses.
Yeah. I think that he was estimating that it's like $4 a ton that would be added onto the tipping fee. The concern I had, if we raised it then, 180,000, paid for it, then we would start tipping fees without it, possibly, and then have to include it, and then it looks like we're increasing the tipping fees.
Well, my understanding was when I had discussions with him, regardless of how we go forward with solid waste, if it's through on our own or through a private, this amount can be added to the tipping fee, that the new tipping fee that's being charged, and that's, I believe that's where the revenue side is coming from.
Yeah, I think that's what, basically we agree to that. The only point was, with me, is it was a recommendation to put forward that we not tax for it, that we actually use it for, collected from the tipping fee when we start, and anything that we need to pay in advance, that you advance that department the monies. And we can discuss that later, but if that was something that the committee can agree to. Anybody have any?
I agree with that.
Bill?
I'm sorry for me.
All right, Tom? Herb?
Yeah.
All right, I think we discussed the Office for the Aging. I think it was the contention of everyone that was here to make them whole, I believe. So that's why, I forwarded that in this document as something recommended to the full board. Okay? Anyone have any issue with that? If not, sales tax appropriation. There was another chart that I handed out to everyone. Maybe you can steal one off of somebody else's desk. But basically, what it says is, let's take a closer look at our sales tax appropriation to see how close we are. All right, to see if there's any room. And I think when the full board actually gets like current sales tax numbers from you, we can have a better idea of where we stand. So what that shows is basically in the blue is what we budgeted, and the orange is what we've received over the years. So in 2013, that's what we budgeted, and in 2014, that's where you've increased the tentative budget to. Okay? That's about the 2012 level. So the question was, is there any additional room for appropriation of sales tax? And that the full board can discuss, and you can discuss it with current numbers. Right? There's no recommendation other than if there is, use it to lower the tax levy, if there is additional room. We got into talking about data processing, and the idea that the unwritten policy was we wanted data processing to make all the IT purchases, but we've never established it as a policy. So I think that when we looked at, there was a server there for probation. You had talked about him having to prioritize. And I think that this was like a recommendation that to fully fund it, let the board determine the priorities with data processing as we go forward.
Does this include software too? Because
No, just his budget. Okay, not the sheriff's budget. just that money that was in for the servers and the plotter for, because you didn't cut specific items, you just cut a dollar amount. All right, so this is just a recommendation going forward. On the next one is we had on the health insurance, the M fund. The committee was presented with a detailed health insurance budget for 2014, and there's some differences between the more current numbers and those that were in the tentative budget. And basically this speaks of, as we go forward, compare those numbers together as the full board looks at it, and see if and where those savings are. And then if there are, to use that to lower the tax levy. Did I miss one? No. The job positions and the requests and all that, we didn't have time during the course of the 20 days to discuss what the impact was of those, the jobs that were eliminated, the positions, or the upgrades. So all this thing says is that we have 2 months left. Let the full board make a determination. We can play with the numbers then on what effect those will have on the tax levy. All right. Anyone have any objections with any of it?
Well done.
Right? If not, it's just something we'll pass on to the full board for their consideration. And
I did have one item with the health insurance.
Okay.
It's indirectly affects the general fund. With the presentation that Benetech, the only number I could see that could potentially be way off is the road machinery fund. I believe in that the revenue paid from road machinery to the M fund. In that budget, he's got like 44,000. Through only 2 quarters this year, road machinery has paid 80,000.
yeah, you're talking about Darren's
Darren's proposed
motion.
budget.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. That's why you've got all those exact ones. You know what I mean? And that's why I said let's mesh those two together.
And we'll have a better idea actually, because the third quarter bill should be coming from
Okay.
personnel. And then, but that was the only number really I saw that really is, I believe is.
Well, that's
I don't know if
good.
it's just a matter of somebody had something wrong, an employee of the road machinery fund, but through only 2 quarters we're at 80,000, and the whole 14 budget he only put 44,000.
Okay.
And
If it's big.
indirectly, it affects the general fund because you've got to
Yeah.
transfer.
Right. Yeah, it affects that transfer. But that's good that you picked it up, and then this way we can mesh those two together. All right, when the full board gets it. Yeah, Bill.
Back up a little bit to data processing. That 72.6 that the department had requested, that didn't do anything for the sheriff's department, did it? That was just...
No, that was all. That was the plotter, the server for probation, some other backup servers. There was a list of equipment.
So potentially with his 200 and this 72, we could be looking at over $250,000 of upgrades?
That was it. His is mostly software. Sheriff's department.
14, so.
Huh? Sheriff's was mostly software.
Yeah, you got some hardware.
Yeah. But I think, Bill, what's, going forward with the next board is that they will have a capital budget, and some of those big ticket items, that's where they should be. Yeah, Brian.
Do you know where we're at right now with sales tax, roughly?
We're up slightly over last year.
Okay. So it's looking, if the trend stays, we should be a little bit above last year's total.
Right. The third and fourth quarter are the 2 biggest quarters of the county seas.
Right.
That'll be a telling.
Yeah.
Through the
So,
first 2 quarters, we are up slightly
yeah. So if
over
we
last
can,
year's actual.
yeah, if we can get like the third quarter, then we can project out that fourth quarter. All right. Is there anything else? If not, you want to just submit that, this to the full board as a recommendation? The motion to that effect?
Yeah.
Herb? Huh? Yeah, this way we can say it past the Herb, and I think Brian. Right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
There's a lot of holes in that budget yet, though.
Huh?
There's a lot of holes, a lot of questions to be asked about that budget yet.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Huh?
Get that every year, don't you?
No, but I mean, the sheriff's got a lot of stuff hanging out there, which is not giving them any answer or any recommendation either. And on the positions. But I suppose the board as a whole will float those.
Right, because every other year when we've tried it, by the time it gets there, it always gets,
I'll agree with
there's
that.
no resemblance to the original. Right? Anything else? Motion to adjourn? Brian? Herb? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.